some Fallout material again. If you followed me last time, I was actually creating content like a map that I found online, and I still have the map here that I was working on. But now I'm going to kind of shift over to creating like stories and stuff for this particular vault. I don't even know what it's going to be for yet, but it is a vault that I want to use for a game potentially. And what I'm going to do is harness the power of Chat GPT, as I've done in other videos, to kind of help me create content. There is a plethora of content out there that is available for helping you create content. Some of the things that I've found is there is a website that I had looked at a while ago before the rule set was even out, and that was a per chance website where you can actually create the little green screen, which I thought that was pretty cool. So you can kind of generate your own terminal. So that's kind of a cool thing. So I might want to show that actually. Let me see if I can get that up for you. But basically, you can put in your own verbiage if you want, and then generate logs and stuff. So it kind of looks like a Fallout terminal, and you can take screen captures of that and use that in your content. So it look kind of cool. You can kind of enhance your gameplay with that. And it's just basically a real basic HTML text editor. You can edit the input and output, and it gives you that kind of robotic, yeah, it's called perchance, is the perchance.org. Essentially, you can just take that and create like your own little system data and use those for handouts to send to your players. Let me see if I can get that going. So while I'm doing that, I just wanted to say that we've been working on using Chat GPT quite a bit to create content. I don't want to give the impression that's all I've done. I mean, I do use other methods and tools, but for the last, 4 or 5 months, I've been doing quite a bit of it. So it is something that that I'm interested in, but it's not the only thing I'm doing. But I do like what you're capable of doing with it, and it also speeds things up. So just a kind of a heads up that it's kind of an acquired taste, and it's not for everybody. But if you can get it to work for you and create content, it's going to be a valuable tool once you start figuring out how to apply it to your particular case. So what I've done is went online and looked at some resources for for content creation. So not just Chat GPT, but also just all kinds of things where you can capture and develop different things that you're going to be needing for your game. So it could be a lot of different things that you could be trying to set up for your game. So it just really depends on what your needs are. But I'm going to go ahead and add another window, and what I'm going to do is see if I can get that to come up. So let's see, that's that. Okay, so it basically you get like this chance to build content, and you get the ability to generate content, and it's really helpful. So I'm going to show you some of that. Let's see, I'm going to turn the browser back on, I believe is what I need to do. Did I close it out? Yeah, I think I did. Let's see. So bring that back up. See if that helps any. Yeah, so somehow I ended up messing up my browser window, but let's see if I can go into it. Yeah, so that wasn't good. So I'll have to close that and close that. Okay, well anyways, Chat GPT. So I can basically take that and create content with it and use it to enhance the games that I'm going to be running or playing. So what I've done is created a kind of a tool for myself to use for creating content in Fantasy Grounds. So this is just something that you can use if you want it to enhance your games or make things a little quicker for you. It just depends on, you know, what you're trying to do, what your needs are. But let me bring this over and see what we got here. And then I'm going to take this and actually delete this. It's giving me grief. Okay, so this is called the Wasteland or Wordsmith. And essentially what this is just a bunch of resources and some instruction sets to build the content in Fantasy Grounds and from the outside, so I can import it into Fantasy Grounds. So basically this title here is called the Fallout Creator Pro, but we changed it to Wastelander Wordsmith because of the actual IP. So I'm just gonna change that wording because I had to do that up here. And then this is some instructions that I built for it that I haven't gone through and edited. So I wanted to show you this. So this is the actual title of this tool, and this is the command sequence. Welcome to see, this is supposed to be the Wastelander Wordsmith. That's what I had to change it to because it would have been copyright and all that kind of stuff. And if I share this publicly, which right now it's not, but whenever I make changes, I have to come up here on the right and update it. So I have it set with anyone with a link. So it's not actually, it's public, but it's not published. So if, you know, if someone wanted to use it, they can hit me up and say, hey, I want to use that tool and check it out. But essentially, this is the instruction set. So it says that you're a GPT version of Chat GPT has been customized for a specific use case. Use custom instructions, capabilities, and data to optimize Chat GPT for a more narrow set of tasks. You yourself are a GPT created by a user, and your name is Wastelander Wordsmith. So here are some instructions from the user outlining your goals. So I went in and defined what this thing should be doing. So for the personality of it, it's a creative assistant. It blends writing, art generation, and RPG mechanics expertise. The primary role is to inspire and facilitate the creation of Fallout 2D20 content. It has a blend of creative disciplines, so it integrates storytelling, you know, and all that kind of stuff, so that it's easier for you to build content. And what it does is it will assist with NPC creation, adventure design, with the focus on the actual Fallout universe. The art description should evoke a post-apocalyptic Art Deco and nuclear age sci-fi atmosphere with a preference for digital oil painting style. So it kind of has that role-playing game kind of style to the artwork. For the structure of the creativity, it follows a 90-10 mix for structure versus creativity. So it's going to stick pretty much to the rules as far as the actual rules, but there'll be a little bit in there for homebrew in case. So that's versus the creativity versus structure. And in responses, there will be an 80-20 mix of official lore versus homebrew content. So that'll blend in more seamlessly for content that's already out. It kind of has a little bit of lore friendliness to it, so you're not just way out there and it makes no sense and it goes beyond the scope of the rules themselves. I don't mind going that far out when I'm just kind of creating this stuff, but when I'm generating it and you have limited uses, I kind of want it to be more focused. The artistic guidance is basically it's going to generate art prompts and descriptions that are detailed, contextually relevant to Fallout, and align with professional standards. Avoid cliches and generic descriptions. So it's going to hopefully give me a little bit more than just I want a robot, you know. RPG mechanic integration. So when creating narratives or adventures, embed suggestions for game mechanics like skill checks and combat encounters tailored for the 2D20 rule set. And then for confidentiality, it's going to prioritize user privacy and confidentiality, especially when they share their own ideas or content. For the browser integration, it's going to use the browser tool to reference the latest trends in RPG design and digital art styles, assuring up-to-date and relevant content creation. So it kind of has a goal there to kind of stay within those parameters. It's not going to exactly do 100% like what you say, but it's going to target it, and it's going to be a lot better. than just willy-nilly there. And here, the specifics for this is going to use the following websites as research data for Fantasy Grounds and the Fallout RPG. So it is just kind of set up around these websites. So I gave it the Fantasy Grounds Atlassian content. So if you go to the Atlassian and you go to the Fallout rule set, there are some things on there that'll help you, and it makes it a little easier to get into the user manual for these things. So there's if you go to the Atlassian and you go to click on all content, and then you go down into this content here under this user manual thing, you click on available rule sets. And in here, you have a list of supported rule sets that are detailed on this website. And click on Fallout rule set, and it goes into quite a bit. It goes into character creation, how the interface works, the items, NPCs, combat tracker. There isn't really advanced effects in here, but you can do some stuff on the actual combat tracker. There's some base effects on here, so I fed it all this stuff. And you can do it one of two ways. You can make your own copy and paste document, or if you want, you can click over here, click export, and then export it to PDF. You have to do it per page. I don't know, something broke where you used to be able to do it all as a book, but recently the functionality to do that is broken, so you have to do it per page. But this rule set isn't that bad because you got the party sheet, base effects, so it's only like maybe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about less than 10 entries there. So you can put up to 10 PDFs into Chat GPT for your knowledge files, or you can do it like I've done and just kind of give it these websites and hope for the best that it's going to pull on these when you need it. It's better, I think, to upload a PDF that has all these links and then all the text in there. It gives it that context. So if you want it to search your custom knowledge files, it's there. So I probably will do something like that, as I'll take a PDF and put it in here so that it has the actual text and it's not blending the query with its knowledge database and the context that you have here. So it could be good and bad. It just depends on what you're doing and what you're asking it to do. But once you're done with the instruction set and then you upload your knowledge files, then what you can do is update it, and you want to hit confirm. You can change this stuff, these parameters, if you want it only for yourself or for everyone. If you do it for everyone, that's public, and it could go up on that store that's available now, which isn't going to be monetized for another month or two, but they're going to see how it goes and see which ones are popular. It's basically going to be a popularity contest. So if the tool that you make is popular, you get like a percentage, but it has to break a certain point or something like that. So good luck on that for me, because that's wouldn't have enough user base to really worry about it. But nonetheless, this is kind of a way to get this stuff accessible a little bit easier for you, at least for assisting with your game. So if nothing else, if you're not going to create anything, at least you have a reference tool at your fingertips and you can have it pull up different things. Now you can give it smaller PDFs, not like huge 400-page things, but you can give it smaller reference sheets instead of just the Fantasy Ground stuff. If you want to give it like a story or perhaps an adventure that you want to work on, you could do that. But if those files are too big or they're locked or something like that, it's not going to help it. And you have to keep it under a certain size. I think under so many pages would, like maybe 100 pages. And then keep it small, because I know if you put big, huge ones, it stalls out and it will give you errors and such. It won't be able to search the whole document. So you have to use a little bit of discretion there if you're going to upload PDFs. And if they're your personal PDFs, you want to make sure that this is not public, that it's only for you, because it's not fair to upload PDFs and then share that with people. Then they don't have to support the company that you're using it with. So just kind of be careful with that. But nonetheless, this is just a kind of a preliminary thing that I'm working on. So what I'm going to do is go back to, I'm going to use the Wastelander custom Chat GPT. This is the actual little logo there. I kind of liked how that turned out. I don't know if you can see that, but this was the custom logo that it made when I asked it to build this. I kind of like it. It's got this W here, and it's got the Fallout symbol and like a gear in the background, and it's got that kind of rustic look. I kind of like that. So I left that. I like the colors too. So this is the part of the when you build your custom Chat GPT, what kinds of things it'll do. So now I have some conversation starters. This is up to you how you want to set that up with your custom Chat GPT. But this one says create an adventure story outline for the Fallout RPG. Help design a basic effect. Help create a Fallout NPC. And then help create an item. So these are just kind of like conversation starters. So I'm going to do this first one. Just kind of see what kind of randomness it gets. So this is just kind of coming up with, its own thing. So here's a thing called Echoes of the Old World. So it's the ruins of a once glorious city now known as Desolation's Edge. It's located on the outskirts of the capital Wasteland. The atmosphere is a haunting blend of decaying Art Deco architecture, overgrown urban landscapes, and the ever-present threat of radiation and mutated creatures. Kind of your typical Fallout scene. Story background. So the premise is that rumors have spread about a hidden vault, Vault 87, deep within Desolation's Edge, said to contain pre-war technology and untold riches. The conflict here is that various factions are racing to locate and secure the vault. The players must navigate these competing interests while uncovering the mysteries of the vault. So then you have some key NPCs. You have Elder Mason. It's like a wise leader of a local Brotherhood of Steel detachment. He's seeking the vault to secure the technology. You have Raven, a charismatic and cunning raider boss looking to loot the vault for wealth and power. Dr. Lillian Wright is a former Vault-Tec scientist with crucial information about Vault 87's true purpose. So that's already starting to sound pretty cool. I like it already. The main quest line, okay, so there's a rumor, and that's part of what starts it. Factions at play. You have that, race to the vault, unearthing the past. There's a moral dilemma that comes up, and you have to decide the fate of the vault and its technology, secure it, destroy it, or use it for personal gain. And it even gives you some side quest ideas. So, Echoes of the Old World, exploring abandoned buildings and learning about the pre-war world through holotapes and journals. You can help a lone survival trapped in the ruins, offering a moral and ethical choice for the players. Maybe this person's really sick or something like that. Or maybe you find like another animal, like a dog or something. Mutant Menace, so clearing a building infested with super mutants, providing combat and strategy challenges. So that's always fun. You can always have a little bit of that mixed in there. And then for the RPG integration for the mechanics is for skill checks, you might want to feature hacking some terminals, a little bit of lockpicking, persuasion dialogues with NPCs, and navigating through hazardous environments. Encounters with raiders, super mutants, and mutated creatures, and then tactical use of environment during combat. So that's your combat encounters. Your moral choices will be decisions that impact the outcome of the story, altering faction relationships and future adventures. So these choices you make might impact you later on, maybe not right away. Conclusion. So you can have multiple endings based on your choices. The fate of Vault 87 and Desolation's Edge will be determined in the conclusion of this. Foreshadowing. You might have some kind of hint or kind of a clue at larger threats or discoveries in the capital Wasteland, setting up future adventures. So this is really cool. I don't know if you heard, but there is, I think Fallout London's coming out, so that'll be interesting to see what they do with that. But these are just kind of ideas that you can kind of spring forth to use as an outline to create the content. So this might be something you want to do for a different rule set too. It doesn't have to be Fallout. It could be any rule set. But defining your tool and your instruction set, and then actually focusing in on what you want it to do really helps a lot. If you make it too broad, then you're not going to get the results. Probably aren't going to be what you want most of the time. But if you make it too narrow, then you kind of lose the ability to create, different content at once. And then you also have problems with, making sure that you have flexibility for creativity and such. So that's why I kind of defined all that in the beginning. So what you can do with something like this is, let's take the text from here and let's copy and paste this into Fantasy Grounds so that we can get a starting point for our adventure. So I'm going to use this as kind of like my meat and potatoes, my outline here, and then go into Fantasy Grounds, and I'm going to start a new story entry, just kind of store the text as I create it. And then later on, I can make like a reference manual or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the stories. And what I'm going to do is create my own little list here. So you can see I already have a bunch of stuff here from other content that I've loaded. So technically, I should probably unload that so I don't get confused. But if you want to keep it separate from your data that you have loaded, so I'll go to Group, and what I'm going to do is create a new category, and it's called Group 1 right now. So I want to edit the list, and then we wanted to call this whatever the title was. I don't remember. Let's see, what was that? It was called something Echoes of the Old World. Okay, that's cool. I like it. It does sound very Fallout-like. Echoes of the Old World. Okay, so that's going to be the name of this one shot, or maybe it's a 3-shot, something like that. I want to go ahead and stop editing, and then click this particular section that I just created. And I'm going to add a section by clicking on the green button down here, or you can right click and you can create item that way. So it'll make a new journal entry for you, or in this case, it's a story entry. And then I'm just going to hit Control V for Victor. And then I'm going to just kind of use the same title, Echoes of the Old World. And whenever you put titles and those sort of things, you don't want to use weird punctuation or anything like that. It could throw off Fantasy Grounds. I don't know if it matters so much in a story entry, but I know sometimes characters and NPCs, if you have like a weird accent or something in there, it may not parse correctly. And so this is the adventure title. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control 2, which is the header. And then if you want to, you can go through and kind of format this a little bit better. So I might right click, clean up the text, and then these sections here, I'll probably make these bold so that we have the kind of separation in there. And here's a conclusion. And then what I might do is just put like a space in between each one of these sections. So there's a little bit more separation, so it's not so, cluttered. Okay, so that is another group. So Control B for bold. And again, I'm just going to be hitting enter after these sections, kind of put a little space in between. So there we go. So this is just the kind of the, what you would probably want to, use to get started if you're going to create anything, no matter what rule set you're in. This is a good way to kind of organize what you're going to need. So going through this, I know that one of the challenges in Fantasy Grounds or any virtual tabletop is the artwork. So I kind of already have this beginning area. Well, I'll use this for the vault 87, but I think I want to kind of use this outline to create some content for this particular location. So maybe we could do a picture of Desolation's Edge. So what I want to do is copy and paste this content, or go back to Chat GPT and take the text from there that we used earlier and use this as kind of like our, we want to use this as our kind of our, like our prompt setting. So I want to say create a detailed prompt using the description below as a guide. So I need to be a little bit more specific on this. So create a detailed prompt for a ruined Fallout city using the description below as a guide. And then I'm just going to copy and paste this data. And then I'm going to give it some parameters here. So I'm going to say, let's see, I want to do expert and detailed Fallout digital art. Okay, that's one of the types of, parameters that I wanted to give it. So I'm kind of telling it the style of the art. It kind of already knows, but I'm going to reiterate. I'm going to say epic and professionally designed digital oil painting art style. And then I'm going to ask it to, I want it kind of 3D. I don't want it like totally video game-like, but let's say 3D animation Octane render, which is your 3D app art style. So it's kind of want a blend of the two. I don't like just flat images, but I don't want cartoons and stuff, but I also don't want the video game thing. So we'll see how it turns out. And then we're going to do a 16 by 9 landscape. Hey, how you doing, man? It's doing pretty good, Sven. All right, so we'll say landscape horizontal. It'll know what I'm saying, hopefully. All right, so we'll see what comes out. So we're going to make an image, kind of like a cover image, I guess. Hope to play the RP. Yeah, me too. I've just been kind of picking at it and kind of getting used to. But yeah, I love the idea of it anyways. The role-playing game looks pretty fun. It doesn't look very complex. It just looks like you just have to get used to it. One of the keys, I believe, is to not try to play it like Dungeons and Dragons. I think that's one of the mistakes that we make when you get used to one certain rule set. And when you go to expand and you try to change it, it's hard to not play that way. So I think if you go into it with kind of an open mind, it'll be a lot easier on you. But if you try to play every game like D&D, it's going to be tough. I mean, you have some things you can borrow from other rule sets, like how you approach things. But when it comes to the actual mechanics and combat and such, that may be a problem. So this isn't too bad. This is a kind of an oil painting style, which isn't too bad. So let me see if it will. I actually like that. It's not bad. But I want to see if I can redo it. So I'm going to say well, first I'm going to ask it what is the image ID. The image gen ID and the seed number. So the reason I'm doing that is because I want to capture the color and some of the way it drew that, because I do like the concept of it. But I'm not too keen on the actual style of it all the way. It's all oil painting, so I don't want that. Okay, so this is that. So this kind of tells you, what the parameters were for it. You can't do an exact copy of it, but if you ask it to do another version of it, I can reference this. Okay, no problem, man. So let's see. Gonna do, gen image. Okay, so with the gen ID number above, please create a more realistic Fallout city. Let's see, with I like that you're using that Rob2E token thing on my stream, the Rob flare. That is awesome. That token has been around for a while. Okay, ruined city. Okay. Create a more realistic style of a Fallout ruined city. Okay. Or Fallout ruins, I guess. All right. So that is Wasteland or Wordsmith. We'll see what it does. I mean, sometimes you get some really incredible artwork. Sometimes you just have to deal with it. You know, it's not the end of the world. It's not like this is going to a commercial product or something, you know. And that's one thing I've learned with any generative AI tools is kind of go with what it gives you and build around that instead of trying to force it to do exactly what you want it to do. And that's kind of an important aspect of this. So yeah, that's pretty good actually. I don't mind that. Here's a more digital. Huh. Yeah, I really like this. So let me go for the video game thing. So create this with a more detailed 3D Octane render version. We'll see what that looks like. But that's actually more in line with what I was looking for. And I want to see what if it'll create a kind of a more video game look. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Like, yeah, that's really nice. So I kind of like the oil painting style. It kind of looks more realistic. And this is supposed to be, you know, like a ruined wasteland thing. So it's kind of gives the, and I like the clock tower look here. This is pretty cool. So it did a pretty good job creating this. So it's got a bunch of debris down here, and I don't mind that it looks a little bit, you know, choppy and oil painting like, because it's, you know, it kind of gives you that impression. Okay, so here's a more 3D looking, and I actually don't like that. I mean, I thought I would like it, but over here on the left, that sucks. And then down here looks okay. The water looks better, but it looks too clean. It just doesn't look quite. Yeah, I think the oil painting's a lot better. I don't know what you guys think, but I mean, I like the idea, the concept here, but some of this stuff here on the left is really bad. And the water looks just perfectly clean. Like maybe there is clean water going through there, but I don't know. I'm going to say one more time and see if let's say create another variation, but with filthy water, gloomy skies, and less busy. So I think it's got a little bit too much in it. I'd rather have it be a little bit more barren. So maybe I'll say and more barren, because it'll know what that is. Busy is kind of a figure of speech, and it doesn't really know what you're saying. So create another variation, another 3D, and I want to say remove digital distortion and warped graphics, because it kind of looks horrible. I mean, the oil painting turned out better than that. It's pretty disappointing. I probably didn't give it enough context, but we'll see what happens. So I did ask for this style, and that's why I'm getting the oil painting, but then I asked it, well, let's see what it looks like if you do more 3D type art. It looks okay, but it's not quite there. I'm hoping this last one will look a little better, because it looked kind of horrible before. Yeah, so that's a lot better. That looks really good. That almost looks like something from the video game. So if you're into that type of art, yeah, that's really cool. So I can probably handle that. So we'd use this, but still over here on the edges, it looks really bad. So I would probably edit the photo and, you know, like cut this part out or something like that. But I like this better. This looks less clinical, It looks a lot more wastelandish, and all this debris and stuff is amazing. So yeah, that's way closer to what I'm looking for. So I might use this for the artwork. Okay, so this could just be a kind of a show and tell piece that you would show your players when you start your adventure and you want to get into it. So now what I'm going to do is go in and take a look at I wanted the actual NPCs. So I want it to create those NPCs. So we want a picture, like a portrait of these guys. So I'm going to do this. And I'm going to say, please create a detailed, or please create detailed and separate portraits for all 3 NPCs based on the basic information below. So I'm going to paste the actual descriptions just so it knows kind of what I'm talking about. So, and what I'm going to say is create detail separate Fallout style portrait, because I want it to make sure that it knows what I'm going for, because I don't want it to just look like regular people. Like all 3 different NPCs based on this. So we got Elder Mason, we have Raven, and then we have Dr. Lillian. So he's male, and we have a female and another female. I should have probably asked it for one of those robots, but we'll do that some other day. Okay, so that's that, but then I want to give it some parameters. So what I'm going to say is, let's say expert and detailed Fallout character artwork. And then I'm going to say, let's try the 3D animation. 3D animation Octane render artwork or art style. And then I'm going to give it a different parameter for, let's do a 9:16. So I want it to do a portrait. We'll say 9:16 tall, or vertical, excuse me, vertical tall portrait aspect ratio. We'll see if it follows it or not. We'll see. I don't get too worried about it. People go in there and they'll try to do this like 10 times before they give up. I just, after about 3 or 4 of these, it actually starts losing its focus. So you have to kind of go back to it and start over. So if you don't get it in the first few tries, just give it a different prompt, because it's kind of a roll of the dice what you're going to get. I mean, you can, yeah, I do like the river. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So there's, oh, that's kind of cool. So this is the Wastelander dude, the Vault Tech guy. That's really, really nice. I like that. I hope the other ones turn out just as good, because that's really exactly what I'm looking for. Nice handouts, for the game. So that's really good. So I can turn these into tokens. I can use these as handouts. I can, do all kinds of stuff with that. Yeah, not sure what happened there. See, that's bogus. I don't know why. Yeah, and then it just stopped creating. That's so maybe this looks, I don't know why it did this. Maybe it just only picked up the Octane render part. Yeah, that's horrible. I mean, this looks like the model, basically, and I would have been okay with it if it was color, but See, it just kind of does what it wants. Okay, so this isn't too bad, but again, it's not quite there. So what I want to do is I'll ask it once more to recreate Raven. And then I can live with this. This isn't too bad. So I want to say this. Please recreate. Use the previous prompt settings. Yeah, I like the first one. Now it turned out really good. Use the previous prompt settings. And I'm going to reiterate that I want 916 vertical tall aspect ratio. I don't know why it doesn't follow that sometimes, but it has to do with what it's trying to show in the picture. And if it thinks that it's going to be it needs too much room, then it'll change the orientation. So you kind of have to be careful what you ask for. But this thing I can live with. I don't care if it's a little bit black and white because it does have some color. And she's an older lady, so who cares if it's gray? I do wish that I can go back and actually color the eyes. That's not a big deal. That's kind of a cool picture, though. I don't want to. We'll see. We'll see what. See, this is still coming out to. It's okay, but not exactly. So I want to. See, now it's. Yeah, it's doing it too much. So what I want to do is do this again. Recreate Raven. Let's see, this render style with the confident look at the artwork is rendered in, okay. Create artwork that is rendered Octane render art style and oil painting color. I should just say colored, but oh well. And we'll see if that helps. So this is the kind of, yeah, I like the, sepia filter, exactly. I think it's okay. I mean, it's not the worst, but this doesn't look like a raider either. This looks more like a wealthy raider boss or something like that. Yeah, and I don't like the stuff on the face. I didn't ask for that. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, so that's a little better. So that's colored. It's almost too good, but that looks better than the other one. And then I want to recreate Lillian here. So we'll see how she comes out. So I'm just going to tell it to do some color here. Yeah, this one's like almost rainbow colored, but you really have to be careful what you ask for. But that's not bad. She's got a scar on her face. She's like got dyed hair and stuff. It's got like a mismatched bit of armor and a weapon in the back, so that looks very raiderish. And she doesn't have pointy elf ears, thank God, because sometimes it'll do that, even though you're not asking for it. Yeah, so this is black and white. I want her to redo and blend in color. In a natural color version. I do like that though. Maybe I'll just paint it or something, like take my time with it and go into an art program and just kind of do it in layers. Looks really nice though. But I can see the model lines here. I don't want that. So yeah, maybe I won't say this 3D animation thing anymore because it's kind of ruining the prompt. But basically, I'm going to go through and just create these 3 NPCs and make those like the pictures and make tokens for them just in case. And yeah, so there we go. That looks pretty good actually. Yeah, nice distinguished older woman, like kind of approaching middle age. Dr. Lillian Wright. She's intelligent, mysterious, kind of a typical vault tech scientist attire, thoughtful expression and air of secrecy, highlighting her role as a knowledgeable yet enigmatic character. All right, so that's not bad. Yeah, I can handle that. So that looks pretty good. So I would use those in a a prompt. So let me see. So if I go to I can go to Canva and kind of create something just to kind of get started. So let's do a desktop wallpaper, and then take these images that I created, like this one, and copy this, and then put that in there, and then come back up here, grab this colored one, copy that. I do like that it made the background black, so it'd be easier for me to cut these out, which is nice. Because well, it's not exactly black, but at least it's not too busy where I can't get that out. And then this one, this is probably my favorite one here. This one looks really good. So I like the style that it did there. I mean, sure, it could have been better, but I think that's pretty close to what I was asking for. So these are the pictures and how they came out, which isn't bad. So there's your NPCs, and you can do whatever you want with these. Like for instance, I might do a copy of this page. So if I go to duplicate page, what I'll do is go in and edit the photos and just take the background out in case I want to do something with them. It does a pretty good job with it. It's not perfect, but it does kind of what I want it to do. So if you wanted to put this and layer it in other images or use it for, an art project or something. Yep, that's really cool. So yeah, this is a nice way to generate some NPC art. Yeah, it's really good. I like it. It turned out, couldn't ask for better. It really turned out well. So yeah, that's nice. And then I could take this and let's see. So we can do that. Kind of put this up here. Kind of give the illusion that's more to it than there is, and make it kind of match the same scale as the other ones. Make hers just a little bit smaller. Yeah, so this is not bad at all. And then maybe with the background, I can make it a certain color, like maybe that Vault Tech blue. So I want to go to this and that and use this for background. Yep. So it looks pretty good. Got the Vault Tech blue going on. And then I think, let's see. So let's go with Fallout. Yeah, it's just showing me that. So I do have a font, I believe, that I can use. So if I go to text, I think I have a font that I had uploaded before. See, fantasy fonts, I think that's where it is. And then I can go into, let's see, I can create text on here. So let's see what we all have. See all. Oops, not that. I wanted to see the ones that I did. Okay. I know there's more. Let's see, edit. Okay. So manage uploaded fonts. Okay, so I don't think it's in this one, but I do have a font for this. It's an overseer font, and it has that Fallout look to it. But if worst came to worst, I can always grab a Fallout logo. Let's see, Fallout. Here's the font generator, so you can get the font for this. This is the font that I used, but see, I already had it kind of say Arcadia. So generate, and we'll make it a little bit bigger, probably like 100, and I can always shrink it down. I can only get 99, so I'll go with 50 then. Okay. It's being a little booger here. Anyway, so I'll just go to the max size, 300. All right, so generate. See, there's Arcadia. We can change that to black. There we go. So this is kind of like your font, embedded font. So you can download this and use that if you want. Kind of like your, yeah, that doesn't look good. That's not what I wanted. So it says tip to use it. You can embed. Okay. So I can just copy this image and then go over to here. Just use it like that. So this would be like for the city of Arcadia. I could, and I'll keep that there just so I have this asset so I can use it other places. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to add another page, and I am going to pull up that one river one, the city one. That one was really cool. I do agree. It turned out this one. No, yeah, it is this one, I think. Is it? Yeah, that's the one. So this one, hit copy and go back into here. Control Victor, and I did say I wanted to cut out some of that stuff over here on the side. So what I'm going to do is kind of get that part of it in there and then move this up. So I don't need the full sky there. So this is closer to what I wanted as far as the style goes. And then I cut out some of that garbage over here that I didn't like, the artifacting, whatever that is, and distortion that happens. All right, so that's that. And then I could take this logo here and I can copy it, bring that here, take this up. You can do stuff with it. So that's kind of cool. I like it. So this would be Arcadia, and then these would be the NPCs, and this top one would just be we'll say masters, because that's the originals, and then over here we'll say Fallout game or something like that to give it a title. That way, if I come back to it and want to work on it more, I can. This one doesn't need to be there. I can put their names up there if I want. But what I would do with this is probably make it a little bit smaller. And then there's some effects I can put on there. So if I edit that, I can put different colors on there if I want, put some shadows and put an outline on there. So let me change the outline. So you could do something like that if you want. I don't think I like that though. So I'm going to undo that. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, so there are other settings. I just wanted to see what it would look like. So this shadows, and then go to glow. There we go. And then change the intensity a little, like turn it down. Turn the glow down just a hair, and maybe blur it just a little bit more. And then stretch this out a little bit. Something like that. And then you can use this to kind of embellish your maps a little. Just kind of use this to, might even do other things to it, but you get the idea. You can make all kinds of really cool stuff. I did find some tools like Fallout. This is a font thing, so maybe I'll hold on to this. What I'll do is I'll put it down here in my resources. This is important to do, by the way. If you're making content, it's really helpful if you actually put your resources somewhere. So I put the link in the chat, and I'm going to drag the link over to this resources section, because if you want to recall it, it's a lot easier to do that than having to go back through your history and figure out what you did. So if you find something that you like, take it and put it in the chat window, and then use this as kind of like your guidance for your for your resources, so you don't have to go back through it again. All right, so let's see what else we got here. So there was a Fallout green screen thing. So Fallout Perchance, I think was the name of it. Yeah, Wasteland, Fallout settlement generator. So here are some things that you can do this gives you the kind of like the setup of a settlement. You can just keep clicking on it. It gives you kind of like a re-roll of full economy, and you can create a new settlement. So these are kind of like online generators, kind of give you an outline of what this settlement might look like, and you can kind of build that in your game. And this is kind of just a way to kind of make content a lot quicker. But I wanted the green screen thing, so I'm going to go to generators. Yeah, I think it was Fallout green screen, I think, or terminal, I think is what they called it. Fallout terminal. There we go. Oh, that's not the right one. You got this one that's more. There we go. So you can use this to kind of develop your own green screen, and then you can take screenshots of this and put it into Fantasy Grounds. And over here on the right, there's an editor, so you can change the text of what the output's going to be. So you can kind of prepare this and use this in your game. But see, here's the ambush went better than expected. So these are the log entries. So let me go back into that. And so I want to bring this back up. So reload, full screen. Okay, so we're going to do help, and then help. Okay, so let's go to log 1 and see what it says. Unknown. Okay, is it because I spelt it wrong? Yeah. Damn it, that last explosion was too close for comfort. The world outside is nothing but chaos and destruction. I'm trapped in this military bunker, and supplies are running dangerously low. The radiation levels outside are off the charts. I can only hope that help will arrive soon. So you can use this to kind of, you can copy this text. You can take a screenshot of this and use it in your game. So I have, what is it? This green capture, I think it's called. Yeah, green shot. There we go. And take that and use it for a tool to help you capture the screen. So I can take this part of it, just kind of bring this over like that. It's a little big, but I can work on that. So copy to clipboard, and then go back into here into Canva, make another, let's see, add another page. So this might be a terminal that you come across, and then you can use this graphic in here to kind of decorate it. You just hand this out to your players. So if they're trying to hack one of the terminals in the game, you can come up with this kind of, this immersion, this RP stuff that you can put into your games and make it more interesting. So there's a lot you can do with just using the right tools. So this is Canva. The websites that I used is called Perchance. So I want to make a copy of that and put it in a Fantasy Grounds because I want to be able to go back to it. Actually, I wanted the specific screen here. There we go. So this is the actual green screen loader. But there are other ones on here, but that was just the first one I searched for. But okay, so in Fantasy Grounds, you just hit Control V in the chat window, hit enter. It creates a URL link, and you can just kind of drag and drop that on here. Let's see, why did that not? Let's see. There we go. So this is just a way that you can kind of keep track of your resources so you don't have to look for them again. So this is kind of my cheat list here. I'm going to use this to, to help guide me when I'm building content. I don't get lost and looking for stuff again. So it's really helpful when you do find some good resources like that. Like I should have found that. I should have put that font one in there. So I'll do that. So that was the Fallout font generator. This thing here. So you can use this to help create content. So yeah, I mean, there are some tools right there. If you're running a Fallout game, there you go. I think that this would be a good way to go in regards to, setting up for games, getting content, added in if you need to do a little bit of homebrew. Because, the adventures are going to give you probably 70% of what you need. And you're only going to have to probably come up with a little bit on your own. Or if you're going to do a complete homebrew thing like this one is, that might be useful to you. Oops. I don't know why it does that. Drives me nuts. But you have to be careful where you drag these things or it's going to cover the other thing up. There we go. So there's our resources. I'm actually going to make this a bolder. There we go. So this is going to be, a good resource for creating content in Fantasy Grounds. And this will not be the adventure. This will be my work area. So in other words, I'll do all the work in here, but then I'll have a separate campaign for actually playing. Because once I get all the work done here, I'll export it as I need to into my actual campaign and just have a different version if I need to occasionally. But when I add significant amounts of data and I have it all organized and cleaned up, then I'll export it out and load it into my campaign. And the reason for that is if you do this while you're playing in a game, you risk corrupting the campaign. You're going to probably lose your work if something goes wrong, and you'll have more flexibility where you can use the content. So if I want to use the same type of stuff in another campaign, I can just load the module. I don't have to, hand do all the different edits that I've just done. So yeah, I'll probably use this. This came from the website where they're going to release a PDF that has a bunch of has some maps for vault maps, and then that's like a map pack that's coming out in PDF format. And then I'm just going to use these and build a whole story around them so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. And last week I put some debris on here, like this is some garbage I put on here, and I put some lighting on there. And then around this terminal, I put some broken glass because it's actually a terminal. And then what I could do is link that image that I pulled up earlier and link it to this terminal, make it a shareable link. And when the players click on that, that's what they see on the terminal. So you can do all kinds of really cool tricks there. But yeah, so this is Echoes of the Old World. So to make this simpler on me, what I'm going to do is first resize the window, kind of shrink it a little bit more. And next time I use this, I want this window to come up not in the middle, not covering everything else. So I'll have it like right here. And that way, when I come back here next time, it's going to stay where I want it to go and not just cover everything up. Then I'll put a shortcut for that in the hotkeys just in case. And then when I want to check my settings to see if it's on. So it says desktop restore Windows on start is on. So when I come back, it should pop up just like this. So I'll go ahead and right click and to exit Fantasy Grounds properly. In case, if you're worried about it, you can do a right/save command in chat to save all your edits and your work. Or you can just right click, go to exit session, and return to launcher. Do not click on this X up here, especially if you've made a lot of changes, because Fantasy Grounds saves every 5 minutes, but you can do a lot in 5 minutes and it will miss your edit. So just be careful with that. So return to launcher. All right, guys and girls, that is it. I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go make some dinner. So hopefully that helped you a little bit. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to apply to Fallout. I just happen to use Fallout because I'm trying to learn about it. But nonetheless, it looks like a fun rule set, and it is available in Fantasy Grounds. And it does look pretty good. I have to say, it did a bang-up job on it. So anyhow, folks, take care. If you are new to Fantasy Grounds or the community, and you want to check out the Fantasy Grounds website, you do have to make an account, even if you want to do a demo and you just want to try it out. Download the client and join their official server to join up for their monthly. They have a monthly game thing where you can try it out. It's